If you're committed to thriving, you better be aware of this. This is how you can tell whether you're at peace or whether you're on the sideline of your own life. Okay? When you take a deep breath, if you breathe from your chest, like your stomach doesn't go right, or your shoulder blades go up, or your breath gets stuck right here, that's telling you
Right.
something is up.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. I am Tiffany Alexander, and I am here today to welcome you and introduce you to an amazing person you absolutely must get to know in your life. Now, hear me out. My new friend, Brian Johnson, he is a holistic optimization coach of the human body. And we have so much to unpack that we're going to jump right into it. So Brian, come on in. Tell me about, actually, you know what? Can I take a second and just tell for a second how we met? Super random. Here's the deal. I was in Las Vegas at an event that someone invited me to. The power of networking is phenomenal. So if you're watching this, you want to know me, you want to know Brian because you want to get to know who we knew. From that, I was in the back of a room and I was gravitated, just magnetized towards this person right here. And I thought, man, who are you? Who do I need? And bumping shoulders, like, and
Yeah.
boom, we headed off immediately. Hey, did you know this? Do you know this? Like, what are you excited about in life? And lo and behold, here we are hanging out on a podcast, and I get the pleasure of being able to introduce you to him. So let's go. And Brian, tell me about your story.
So, hey, welcome. Happy now. Let's see. So, I'm currently 46 and I'm an entrepreneur, and my main things are health and wellness and solving problems on a holistic level. So, I started doing the thing when I was 7. It's pretty much just what I've been doing my entire experience. And I got into bodybuilding at 7 because I got picked on a lot because I had an older brother. So I had an interesting push into getting bigger for fear of just not being able to take care of myself. And I had a lot of bullying growing up, so I have a special appreciation for it nowadays. But really, my whole life has been, up until this point, has been designed and just fabricated around figuring out what's important, what's not, realizing that everything we've been taught is garbage. So when I turned 30, I'm 46 now, I just realized that I need to make a lot of changes with the information that I had.
Hmm.
Because the information and the wisdom is like, I tell my people, I'm like, look, the only difference between a jackass and a genius is information.
There you
Right?
go.
So that's why it's an information war. So knowing that I didn't have good information just set me on a journey to go and find the best information and the fastest information to create miracles on the spot and solve problems without having to talk about them, really. Because here's the big thing. In my experience of doing this stuff, whenever a thing shows up, like a scratch, an itch, an irritation, a burn on your hand, a chipped tooth, a broken bone, digestive issues, whatever the thing you could possibly fabricate, all of it is emotional information.
Hmm.
And when you really get that, the world becomes a much larger place, because until you get that, you will be a slave to what you don't know is going on around the clock, right? So today, I'm sure we'll go across this. I'll do a couple of demonstrations to show you a couple of tools to help you get off the sideline and get into your own life. Because here's the thing, most people have no idea these things are even going on, so they don't know to look at them. And can we agree, if you don't know how to look at them, you ain't going to be looking for them, right? So
Right.
that means that people have just gotten, necessarily say comfortable, but how about comfortably numb about being where they're at, but not realizing that there's other levels of the game, because that's just where they be in the information they have to access that experience.
Hmm.
Well, all we're going to do is clean all that stuff up, share with you tools I've uncovered and come across and from serving a couple 100,000 people at this point and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and getting down to the meat and potatoes or the vegetable smoothies if you're a vegetarian, but getting to the point of like, okay, what's really going on here? Why are things the way they are? Well, it's because it's been designed that way, number one. And until you can get yourself to the idea or place to realize that it's been designed that way, then everything that you're operating off in your life, for the most part, is faulty information. So today, we'll start shedding some light and some tools and some resources and stuff for you to be able to, if you're open-minded, change the information that you have. Because here's what I will tell you. This is what I ask my students. I'll ask you this, Tiff. What's the most expensive thing you could ever own?
You know what? I'm going to say like good health because that's the direction I want to go to answer your question. But people would probably say things, but who cares about all the things if you have no health or life to enjoy it? So I feel like the human body is probably the most expensive thing we could pour our money into.
I like those. Even before that, my
Mm.
invitation is consider a closed mind because
Oh,
if someone has a closed mind, it doesn't matter what you're telling them, they're not even going to be open minded to hear the information in the first place before they make a judgment or decision about it with zero information. So my invitation to you is, unless you hung around with someone who's been doing this for 40 years, just give yourself permission to be open minded and allow me to share some things. And here's the cool part is that we're going to know whether I'm full of it in seconds, because everything that I share with you is going to work right now. So you don't have to wait a week from now or a year from now to figure out whether it worked. Like, no, your state's going to change or something is going to happen now. So that way you know. And that's why I like it. I'm like, look, let's put it all on the table and let's find out so we can just get it all out there, because I have zero interest in wasting my time. Right.
right.
So that's where we're at. Now, along that way, I've been suicidal. Here, I'll show you. Almost killed myself 12 times, been 253 different times. This is when I was 30. I'm 46 now. I function pretty close to in shape like that now, but here's the interesting part. After I did this, I had already done this 2 times before I got to this one. Then I got out of shape again after winning a show at 30 and taking me 13 years to figure out how to get back in shape. Now, this is the important parts of the conversation. Is if you don't change who you're being, you will never change what you're seeing, but you also will never maintain that state of being, because that's not who you be. You understand what I'm
That's
saying?
not who you be. I
It's
like
not.
that.
Right? I mean, the only reason you are where you are is because that's who you are. And it's not a
Hmm.
judgment. It's like, hey, let's look at the facts. My
Yeah,
theory,
old habits die hard, right?
or don't at all until we die because of our old habits. So, right? So understanding that, in my experience, getting in shape is, yeah, you can will yourself into shape, meaning put the habits in and gird it in there. But guess what? If you're not operating as that's your identity, you're not ever going to
Mm.
sustain it. It's going to be a job. When you're, it's a way of being, it's just who you be. It's like, okay, I naturally hold that state because that's my identity. Or I naturally have this love of wealth influence because that's my identity. Or I have this type of relationship or career because that's my identity. So our book is called Think Great, Lose Weight. Here's some interesting stuff for you. Can't even say the word lose weight on social media anymore. Ha! Free speech ain't free, family. So,
Wait, so that's your book. When did
yeah,
you write that book? Lose Weight, Feel Great.
man, a long time ago. Think Great, Lose Weight. We probably
Think
did
Great.
that 15 years ago. Yeah, that's got a lot of information. And here's the cool part. Anything I share with you is not only priceless, it's timeless.
Hmm.
Because it's not a fad. It's not going to work only on Christmas Day you know what I mean? It's like, no, these are tools that you use as operating system upgrades, meaning changing the data going into your king or your queen dome so you can change the input that your body's functioning off of. All right. So as we start putting new commands in there or codes, which we'll do today, you will see and experience firsthand how the proper information works, because your state will change. Now, and here's a good one for you. Remember this. The only time that exists is now, family. Tomorrow when it's happening, guess what time it is? Now. Okay?
Now.
So if you're not transforming your life now, you're fooling yourself. Okay? Tomorrow's never going to happen. I'll do that tomorrow. Well, you tell yourself that, but guess what? It's never going to happen.
Hmm.
So until you can become honest with yourself and realize the words and things that you are using that are keeping you stuck, you will forever stay stuck. And you need to know this. Our language has been meticulously designed by some very smart, unconscious, conscious people who knew exactly what they were doing, because if you can get someone to cast spells or create curses by their own volition, it's a free will world here, right? So if you're not adjusting your own language or being aware that there's things going on with your language, let's start on that point, because I'll tell you, the fastest way to upgrade or downgrade your life is by your language. It's by our language. And I'll give you an
Hands down.
example right now so you know what I'm talking about. I'm a huge spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. My spiritual views have flip-flopped. I have always been connected with pops. Like, that is zero issue for me. But when you get into all the dogma and everything else, like, I have a lot of questions. But here's what I'll tell you. I love some of the scriptures for a reason. One of them, perfect love, or let the not the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Let's start on that one. Okay, so let's drop anyone's pretenses about what that means to you. Just verbatim, look at the information. Okay, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Well, what does wanting mean? Wanting means I'm agreeing with not having it.
Hmm. Wait,
Okay?
say that again. Say that again. It was too good to pass up to say again.
Wanting is agreeing with not having it by our own choice, which means you will continue wanting until you choose differently. Because you can never stay in a state of want until you take action and make a new choice, then you're choosing. It's different. It's a
Hmm.
word selection, and it makes an astronomical difference on the quality of what happens next for you or not. Make sense?
Yeah.
So one of those is, and here's the cool part. Just say this out loud. So say I want.
I want.
Now say I choose.
I choose.
Now do it again and just go slow and notice what you notice.
I want. I choose.
Okay, what do you notice? You're
Hmm.
talking minuscule. You're talking the subtleties of greatness is what we're tracking right now. I'm teaching you nuanced information. Once you get this, unstoppable thou shall be.
This is it. This is the optimization. Now tell me, how did you decide that this is what you want to be doing right this second?
I've always followed what I love doing, regardless of whether it was popular or whether I got paid for it. So this is how I got where I'm at. I do what I do because I love it. I don't have to do it. It's what I it's what I enjoy doing. It's what I've invested all my skill sets and resources into mastering and being a bride on the spot because I'm not Johnny. You know what I mean? So
Why? So this is a huge thing. You're teaching these human body optimization to be your best, to use your words, to make sure you're at peak mental state, your spiritual state, everything. Why is this so important to you?
how come as a resurrect or serve 1 billion people into their best expression? So my job is to help each person I come across that's committed to helping themselves because I don't have to touch 1 billion people. If matter of fact, if I did the math on it, it would be a very small amount if I were to get technical on it. But nonetheless, if I can serve a certain amount of people, that will automatically happen just by the morphogenic field, or what they would call the hundredth monkey. You familiar with the hundredth monkey?
No, I'm not. Tell me, what is the
So,
100th monkey?
so the hundredth monkey is an example of the morphogenic field. You can go look up Rupert Sheldrake. So the morphogenic field is this etherical or non-seeable field that's around us. And the story goes back, how they figured this out was there was some monkeys that were on an island completely secluded. Okay. There was a lot of radioactive stuff going on, and the sweet potatoes and potatoes that they were eating were dirty. So somehow they had this idea to take the potatoes out into the salt water and wash them off and eat the potatoes because salt water will neutralize it. Well, somehow, once a certain amount of them in consciousness got it, all the monkeys across the planet, across the world that are not connected, species or communication wise, all of them start doing the same thing.
Whoa.
This is the same thing with consciousness. This is why it does not take a full 8 billion people to resurrect the planet. It
Hmm.
takes a small group of committed people willing to do the work consistently to elevate and resurrect and ascend their own well-being, which tunes the forks of everyone else who's committed to doing the same. So the job, our work, is really internally. It is self-mastery. It is knowing exactly who I'm being at any point in time of the day. And when I'm out of alignment, I need to know like now so I can
Yeah.
change it. Right?
What does
All
it
right.
look like when somebody finds you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I need you in my
Yeah.
life."
Well, I mean, a lot of times it's really, I mean, I get called in very special situations because not many people are interested in what I do,
Mm.
which is walking through the fire and helping people clean up their stuff. Like most people are not interested in that. Let me tell you something. No one's coming to save us. Okay? No matter what your spiritual beliefs are, my personal and professional opinion, I don't think anybody's going to drop out of the clouds one day and transform our life, which means if we're not doing it now, this is the time that exists. Okay. And so many people have been waiting for some person to come back and they have done absolutely nothing on themselves. And they're still asleep at the wheel,
Hmm.
hoping. My invitation is consider what I'm asking you and take action and take control of your own well being so you can ascend your own soul by doing your own work and cleaning up your own traumas and doing your own version of the Christ, whatever that is for you. And it's an inside job. Did you know every 28 and a half days there is a type of fluid that is secluded from our pineal and our pituitary called the land of milk and honey, which goes into the cup, which is this part of our head. If our skull was removed, this cup, when it's clean, those secretions will drop down into it. So the story of the scriptures and things going on is an esoteric conversation around an internal experience that we are waiting for someone else to participate when when it's going on in us. Like, we are the Christ. And if you knew the story of the fluids that go through our system, it's just like the story of the zodiacs. Okay. I'm just telling you that. We can dive into it deeper, but here's the thing. The way to resurrect the quality of your experience is to be able to take your fluids that are secreting every 20 and a half days, for them to make it down through your system, die in 3 days in your lower chakra, which is like Sodom and Gomorrah, before it goes back up to the king or the queen dome, where it dies at the 33rd vertebrae, and all that fluid is boosted, is what you wouldn't call the word activated, right? As we are able to make that ascension and not get rid of it as guys or ladies, so to speak, think about this. This is really interesting. If you look at our world and how it's designed, it is 125% designed to make you fail in every
Hmm.
way of your life. Every corner you go, there's sex promoted. It's freaking on videos on Instagram. Like, why is that? Well, if you knew that that seed was the gas for your great God self to come online fully, do you think it would be a good idea to sustain and maintain that stuff?
Hmm.
But instead, it's propagated everywhere. Okay? The whole thing in our world is designed for us to stay stuck and not realize who we be. If you're not broken out of the programming, if you haven't cleaned your body up, like, I might be talking a lot for some of you, but some of you are going to get it. Like, look, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to tell you, I don't like knowing what I know because it's very uncomfortable. But I'll tell you this much. I'd rather know the truth than be bamboozled by a bunch of shit that ain't.
Hmm.
So I'm the kind of person who's willing to dive in and take a few for the team and lose a couple of days sleep as I'm processing all the emotions to clean it up. Because look, when you get down to the nuts and bolts of what's going on, you're going to realize everything we think we know is a fairy tale.
Hmm.
And a lot of times that's a hard pill for people to swallow,
Right.
especially when you realize your entire life is a freaking fairy tale. And you're like, well, that was amazing. 40 years right down the crapper to have some experiences, but everything I was taught was terrible, right? So start where you're at. I'll give you a couple of lines of code. So I'll tighten up the conversation so that way I don't leave you in a stunky mood. So I'm going to give you a couple of language codes. Pay
Yeah.
attention to how you feel. Say them out loud so you can feel
Hmm.
them for yourself, right? One of those, and these things I'm going to tell you are billion-dollar tools with a capital B, because they work every time. The first one is this. This is my favorite one. As a matter of fact, my millionaire and billionaire clients, even my moms, my grannies, and all of them, I ask my clients, I'm like, look, what is the best tool I've ever shared with you that allows you to change your state on the spot? It's
Hmm.
this one. I give myself permission to make this fun and easy. Let's break it down. I give myself permission to make this fun and easy. It's a third grader statement. Agreed?
Yeah.
And it gets better. This is the value of priceless wisdom. It is third grader information. That's why it's priceless. You don't have to go get a master's degree for 10 years and charge you $500,000 to learn some crap that doesn't work. Okay. So, I give myself permission to make this fun and easy is the opposite of I can't, this is too hard. The symptomology of I can't, this is too hard, when it's active, is snotty noses, allergies, lymphatic swelling up stuff, Hodgkin's lymphomas, that kind of stuff. That is the belief system of I can't, this is too hard. That never got checked, or I give myself permission to make this fun and easy.
Hmm.
Okay, it's a two. We'll go through this more. I'm giving you some tools right now and some files. So when we're talking, if someone says, tut, tut, today was a great day, most people would never pay attention. Tut, tut, today was a great day. That's a two stutter, which tells me that person is stuck in apathy, which also tells me that person's probably unconscious. And if that's the case, that's okay, because I can say I give myself permission to make this fun and easy and tighten up both of our states, because
Hmm.
that is me. Okay? And there's only one of us here. Scripture says, if you're not one, you're not mine. So if you're using the word they or them, we're automatically off our mark. Everything is separation. We got to get out of the language of separation. Okay? So I choose. Great one. So you ditch the word I want, you're going to go straight into having a proactive word that will always keep you at a higher vibrational state instead of dropping down into lack or I don't have, which is impossible if you believe that you're created in the creator's image. It's impossible to lack. No. The only reason why we would lack is because that's what we are agreeing with and believing unconsciously, and that's what our world is expressing. But when you realize God doesn't pull jokes on people, there are laws.
Yeah.
And when you know the laws in the universe, you can function accordingly, and then things kind of start to tighten up. It is work, but remember, I give myself permission to make this fun and easy. Here's the next one. I'm going to give you a story too before I give you this next piece. So check this out. So I was at the gym one morning at 5 a.m. and I did not want to be there. And I'm doing the elliptical and I'm just bitching and complaining the whole time. And I'm just hunched over, just nose pouring off my face. I've done an astronomical amount of drugs in my past. Never had a nose run like this in my life. Just pouring. And finally, I'm like, shut up. Because I'm in my head the whole time. And as soon as I'm like, okay, what's the deal? As soon as I had the idea to say, I give myself permission to make this fun and easy, I didn't say it
Yeah.
out loud. I
Mm-hmm.
got the I out in my thought. Nose stopped running instantly. Posture straightened up. State completely changed.
Hmm.
How's that possible? The word becomes flesh.
Yeah.
Let the weak man or weak woman say, I'm strong. So once I can identify the thing and then recode the information, change happens right now. When? Now. And it takes 2 seconds. Remember this.
Right. Right.
If you're doing traditional therapy, don't. I'll tell you why. Because if you're still talking about shit 20 or 30 years later, you're wasting your time. What I'm inviting you to consider is this. It's like when you pull up a situation or a person, your body is going to have emotional checkpoints. And I'll give this to you if you choose to. These
Yeah.
checkpoints here are the circles. They are the homes. They are the physical locations. Okay. So for example, if you have sorrow or sadness active, it will show up as a tension right here in your throat. Literally in that little spot. Think about this. Have you had a time in your past where you felt like crying?
Right.
Would you
Yeah.
notice?
It's always like, oh, I don't know.
That's exactly how it feels when your body is telling you, hey, I have sorrow or sadness active. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to think about it, you feel about it. Okay? So, because here's the thing, we've never been taught how to feel a feelings, have you? I've
Not
knocked myself
necessarily,
off
right?
about 12 times. I had no idea. What do you mean, feel a feeling? How do you do that? What is that? We were
Mm-hmm.
never taught that for a reason. Okay? So now you have sorrow, sadness in chest, or delete, in throat. And then you have fear in your chest. Now you see those numbers right there? The 3, the 4, the 3, the 4, the 3,
Mm-hmm.
and the 5. There's a code. Those are stutter patterns. Okay? We went through the 2, and I'm telling you the 2 because you're going to use it a lot. Man, if you just walk away, or woman, if you just walk away with one tool, I give myself permission to make this fun and easy. If you just use that, you will transform your life. Because every
Oh,
time your life
exactly.
fuckers up and life happens, you can shift your state. Because here's what you need to know is if you don't shift your state and you head down these lower vibrational states, we're into a state in our experience where you don't have a lot of delay between what you're attracting back in your experience.
Hmm.
And unless you can take the information expressed in your experience and you can find out what emotions are present on you, you will have a lot of unnecessary things showing up due to being at the wheel.
Huh.
All I'm showing you how to do is when you're out of alignment, you bust out my chart, and I'll tell you what to do. You can have my chart for free. Just Tiff has my number. Just use my number and comment the word chart. It'll pop
Oh,
up
okay.
for you. Here's why this is important. Just being Brian with you here. Every 15 minutes, I have an alarm that goes off. I'm checking it right now to make sure that it's set up. It is. Perfect. Here we go. Every 15 minutes, I have an alarm that goes off. It's just a sound. I might be in a meeting, could be doing a podcast, could be doing whatever. But here's the deal. I guarantee I'm going to get 1 or 2 of them an hour. Okay? What does that mean? Oh, that means about however what the math is, 20, 30 times a day, I'm checking in and tweaking my state. So when
Hmm.
something goes off, I just make a micro adjustment, bam, and I'm off to the races. I don't wait until
Nice.
life shows up and gives me a 1, 2 in the balls. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? No, change it, right? So that way I can get clear on what's up and I can change it. This is what we're talking about. Because look, here's how you can tell. This is point number 2. If you're committed to thriving, you better be aware of this. This is how you can tell whether you're at peace or whether you're on the sideline of your own life. Okay? When you take a deep breath, if you breathe from your chest, like your stomach doesn't go right? Or your shoulder blades go up, or your breath gets stuck right here. That's telling you something is up.
Take a
Now
second.
you go to the next step and you find what's up. And then I'll help you clean it up because remember, once you find the home, it takes 2 seconds to change it. We'll do one today so we can have a little experience because once you get there, you're like, is that it?
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm
Okay.
gonna have to. Like, let everybody know how to get a hold of you because we are running out of time for the
Already?
amount of time we have. Yeah, we've been at it for 25 minutes already. It's incredible. I know. And to respect everybody's time, here's what I want to do. You have given them an amazing gateway into who it is, what it looks like. You're health hacking, you're going into holistic optimization of the human body. And tell me this, say your name, tell me how's the best way to find you, and where can everybody find you on all the socials?
Yeah, so my name is Brian Johnson. It's on the little screen right there. My site is brianjohnsoncoaching.com. It's Brian with an I. There are a lot of us, so here's the best thing should you be serious about connecting with me, so that way I can get you the resources because I have tons of resources, okay? Use my text message number. Tiff has it. It's 512-648-5440. When you text me, don't say, hey, Brian, none of that. Type the word chart and press send. And I'll see you when you get back there, and I'll send you an audio message. You can say, hey, just watch a podcast with Tiffany. I'll take care of it from there. But as long as you get to that, I can help you with everything else. Because let me tell you, my accounts are banned. I can't even pay for marketing anymore because of the stuff I talk about. So I have to be very careful with what I do talk about because
Hmm.
free speech ain't free. So if you get value, get on my text message number so that way I can help you get connected to our communities because I have groups that I run year round on Mondays. I got a 30-day challenge coming up right now on August the 4th. So I have tons of ways to help you.
I love it. You've been incredible, and I appreciate all the information you have. We can all tell that you have a wealth of information to be able to unlock you being a better you. And definitely everybody needs to reach out and make sure to text chart over to the phone number, and I'll put it down below. And thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your time. And until next time. All right, one more thing before we go. I absolutely have to share with you some amazing products that we didn't even get a chance to talk about and in depth. So what you need to know is what Brian's going to tell you real quick how to find them.
Yeah, first thing, since we were talking about emotional intelligence tools, I'm giving you my chart for free. Okay. When you type the word chart on my text message line, it's going to pull up a link. Click on it, download the chart. If you have an interest in taking advantage of the opportunity, I'm giving you $50 off my series that helps you process all of that stuff in 2 seconds. You literally watch it in 45 minutes. You write down the statements. You're set for life. That simple. Once I see you, I'll say hi to you. So I'll help you do any questions and stuff like that. And I decided to offer that to you if you choose to take advantage of it. It's there for you. Love you.
See you guys later.